this time we're wrapping up Free Eternal Summer, or Free Season 2, and it's from Kyoto Animation. It's streaming on Crunchyroll, Hulu, and Funimation. Streaming everywhere. They got the message after the first season that people wanted to watch it, I guess. I feel like the latter half of this season was really trying to make it this very emotional, like, resonant thing, and I feel like sometimes it succeeded, and sometimes it was like, okay, keep talking, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know how
drama bombs.
Like, how did you feel, Al? Like, I felt like sometimes it was, like, over-explaining it, but then sometimes, like, I thought, like, the Australia episode was awesome, I mean, like, dead on.
Well, I feel like they really felt like they needed some punch, that the first season had some, like, drama moments, but mostly it was, look at these boys, they're sexy and lamps. And I felt like it was very weightless almost. I mean, there was some amount of weight to it, but I feel like the thing that characterized it more was its frivolity rather than its density. Whereas I feel like this part really tried to, put a bow on a lot of the emotional things they had started in the first season. And thereby, once again, some of them came off as very light, like the first season, or some of them came off as very natural, and others of them seemed, once again, like, oh no, drama bombs being dropped on us.
Yeah, so I guess it was a mixed bag. I mean, one thing I was very surprised about was coming into this season, they introduced a new character, S.W.A.T, who was a friend of Rin's, and there was, like, a lot of drama involved with him, and he almost seemed like a villainous character. And, it kind of felt like he was just thrown in there because it's second season and we need to up the drama, that, like you were saying, Al. But I actually think that he had one of the most satisfying bits of story, because I was just surprised that he had such a satisfying story, and I thought his friendship with Rin was really great and thought out, and I just feel like usually these types of characters that are brought in for these moments are like, yeah, I guess, okay, whatever. But I ended up really liking the character, and I was actually really disappointed that we don't know what he's doing. At the end, they do, like, a little, like, wrap up, and you see where everybody is, and we don't see him. So I was kind of disappointed about that. But I guess I'm just saying I was impressed that I thought they did a lot with character, and it wasn't sort of a throwaway person to cause problems.
I will say, I did feel like going into the last episode, for a show, once again, as much as I said that the first season felt effervescent and such, I was like, man, they've got a lot to wrap up in this last episode. And I was like, are they just not going to tell you what happens in the last race? I felt like that was a distinct, like, they get to the last race and the end.
Oh, it's not like it hasn't happened, right? But
yeah, I was like, are you going to pull that free? Because you have a lot to do here. Everything that they bring up gets some kind of resolution in the end. So, it isn't like, I guess you'll just have to imagine your mind who wins.
I did feel like one of the things I wanted to see change from the first season is that I wanted more of the competitive swimming. I wanted more of the sports aspect to it, like the actual sport part. And I mean, because it had all the sports drama and the sports emotional, like, rivalry and all of that was there, but the actual competition I thought there wasn't enough of it in the first season. So I thought that there was more in the second season, especially in the middle, and, like, the lead up to Nationals I thought was really nice. But then Nationals was like, yeah, I guess whatever, throw away. I guess we raced in that. Oh, look, magical fish! I don't know, it's one of those things where
it was actually the race before Nationals that was so much more important. Nationals was almost like, well, we gotta get it over with.
It was. It totally was. And I guess that just has to do with the characters involved and who, their rivalries were really in the past and not at the national level. So there wasn't enough, build up of, they didn't even show us anyone they were racing against in Nationals because it didn't matter. So, I feel like it was a little lost there.
They could have been a team of international super criminals. You wouldn't know.
Same difference, like, as far as they were concerned. So I think there there was that was a little bit. The rest of the swimming, I had that real punch to it. But then it's kind of one of those things where, as I said, in the last few episodes, I felt like they were really trying to do this emotional punch, and I wonder if they were like, nobody cares about the sports aspect because that's what nobody's watching for that, but I was. So like I wanted some sports satisfaction.
Yeah, the last few episodes really kind of do focus on the character arcs, but I feel like the strongest part of the first season was, the character arcs. So I feel like, in a way, if they didn't kind of have them have some kind of solid conclusion, it kind of probably would have felt like a little bit of a betrayal. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, sports aspect, why for care about? But, I feel like, especially considering, a majority of the fan base, I feel like, if you've got a triage and you've got to decide what am I going to focus on, I feel like that's the one that, was the important part to focus on for the fan base.
I didn't find it unsatisfying. Because characters are third years, so there's that extra element of leaving the club and things like that they had to deal with.
And the whole big arc of all the third years, trying to find out what they're going to do with their lives afterwards. I mean, that was a ever-present part of the season.
And I did like that they built that up from the first episode. I feel like everything built up from the first episode, everything that happened, so it didn't feel like it came out of nowhere, we have to have this emotional ending. No, that's really what the season was about, so they did a good job with that. That last scene was so weird, the animation just went really wonky, and it almost became, Gurren Lagann, you know what I mean? It had, that weird...
I mean, there is the part where Rin greets them all, and his, 4 cohorts all have those bag heads.
Yeah, and then the animation goes, really extreme for a few seconds. I don't know. Maybe that was, a reference,
I feel like the story was over, and they were just it is a playground for these last 2 minutes. Do what you want.
Thus concludes me watching any Kyoto Animation shows. The end.
They might win you back with, something, Kate. It'll just probably not be anything for a while. But, alright, see you guys next time.